Okay, I am down in the Shire. We grew here, you flew here, and I just stopped at Lily Pilly IGA. I think I was the only person there that wasn't blonde. And I've got myself some sunscreen because I've got to remember the slip, slop, slap. And especially if you're blonde and Aryan. And I've just stopped at Lily Pilly Point Reserve. Last time I left from Wally's Wharf to go to the basin, but I thought I might try somewhere where there isn't a boat ramp. I thought it might be a bit easier. And I'm just looking for a place to put in now, so I've parked it. This is a little bit too far from the water, so I'm just going to drive around and have a little scoop around and see if we can find somewhere to kayak in. Yes, pardon my pirate attire. I forgot the, the wet bag, and I also forgot my hat and various other things. Luckily I bought a bit of sunscreen, but on the trip across the bay, got splashed so many times the sunscreen went in my eye, so I couldn't see where I was going as well. As usual, going really, really well. Very windy, but I've just got across the other side of the bay now, so I'm just going to fight my way up the rest of this little bit that we've got left to Port Hacking, and then I'd make the turn into Southwest Arm, and hopefully I can skirt the bank and get out of the wind, but we shall see. But yeah, so far it's a lovely day, but yeah, just a little bit more windy than I'd like. Okay, we've got past all the speedboats and people dragging tyre tubes with kids bouncing off them, the noise, and we are up to the part of Southwest Arm where it's 4 knots only, and there's only about probably 3 foot of water from here on, so you won't see any power boats. And I think I'm in the Royal National Park. Had to battle a headwind for the entire time to get here, but it's I think it's definitely worth it. Okay, I have forgotten the camera stand again, so I've had to improvise a little bit. Pardon, like I said, the pirate hat. I left my hat in the front room in the typical fashion that I usually have of getting away for a trip. I asked my son to check the weather. I think he was in the middle of a computer game, and he said, "Oh, the weather looks good, Dad." And of course, I doubt whether he checked it, because I've been battling 100 knot winds the entire time I've been paddling. But I finally found my way into Southwest Arm Creek, and it's very idyllic. I'm not battling winds that are quite as strong as before, but I'm still going into a headwind, so I think it's called Southwest Arm Creek because it heads to the southwest, and as Sydney would have it, Sydney loves the southwesterly winds, so that's something to keep an eye on if you're coming out here. But having said that, I'm not a strong paddler or an Olympic paddler or anything like that, so if I can get here, anybody can. And it is, I've got to say, bloody beautiful. Here is a camping spot. We have a nice sandy beach, and obviously people do camp here. Probably a fishing spot. So yeah, very nice. So this is a possibility, but I'm thinking it's still a little bit too close to civilization, and don't know if there's any really good trees for hanging a hammock. So this is a possibility for a spot, but I think I can do better. So this is the end of the line for Southwest Arm Creek. Well, not the end of the line, but certainly the end of the section where you can actually go by kayak. And there's a nice deep hole here. Pretty shallow water coming up to it, but me and my paranoia for bull sharks, I'm definitely not swimming in it. I'm going to go for a bit of a wander. There's a couple of people up there on jet skis that have come up, but I'm going to go for a bit of a wander up here and see if there's any freshwater holes up here that I can have a dip in. So this is basically the end of the line for Southwest Arm Creek. A little bit of a battle to get here, but definitely worth the trip. And I'm certain that apart from that other campsite, you could certainly scout around, and certainly a few nice little flat rock ledges and everything. Keeping in mind, of course, that you know, being a creek, you've always got to keep an eye on the weather forecast, because I don't know if you could see it, but over behind me there's a few trees that have been basically snapped in half because they've been driven down the river so hard that they've actually wrapped around other trees and broken in half, and they're sort of double the thickness of my arm. So I'd say that you know, you wouldn't want to be camping here just before a sudden downfall, because you'd be going for a swim. But you know, presently it's very tranquil, and I think I'm going to be paddling back in the dark. Found a really nice couple of trees. I can tie up to that one there. It's not dead, it's still got leaves on it, so it should be right. And this strong little sapling here. And if I go between those two trees, I've got that little creek on one side, and then out here I look out to the beginning of the tidal part, Southwest Arm Creek. So, really nice place to stay, but like I said, I'll keep an eye on the weather. I'm going to do the jump of death. That was cool. I am just sailing along Port Hacking here, following wind, following tide. Strap from the cameras getting in the way. And yeah, all I have to do is ride the rudder pedals. And I don't know, probably doing a couple of knots. It's a lot easier than paddling into it, I can tell you that much. Anyway, yep, heading back to Wally's Wharf at the end of Port Hacking Road. And yeah, definitely a great spot to come and do an overnight at that place. A great swimming hole, a rock to jump off. What more do you need?